on now Hurricane Elsa, which has intensified even more since the last update, which was this morning, where it was just a minimal hurricane at the time, and there's currently a recon plane going through the storm, and data will be coming through on the center very shortly, so go check out tropicaltidbits.com for more information on this storm after you finish watching this video. Currently, it has winds of 85 miles per hour or 75 knots with a pressure of 991 millibars, and current movement is west at 30 miles per hour or 26 knots. As you can see, the structure of the storm when this satellite image was taken was actually quite decent, although its structure has deteriorated quite a bit since the satellite image was taken. So like I said, once this video is over, go check out tropicaltidbits.com. Current watches and warnings for tropical storm is St. Vincent, Martinique, and St. Lucia all have tropical storm warnings at this current moment in time. Current hurricane watches and warnings. Current warnings for the hurricane is in Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic, while there is watches for a hurricane in Cuba. Current intensity and forecast track. I currently have this peaking at 105 miles per hour, although with the way the storm is looking recently, we might only see it peak at maybe 90 to 100 or maybe even just 85, but I am still at the moment sticking with 105 miles per hour for the storm before it moves over Cuba and eventually weakening and hitting land in likely Florida at this moment in time, and will weaken there as obviously as it will be over the land. Current sea surface temperatures remain very little changed since the last two updates, considering it hasn't been long, maybe half a day, since that update. So the sea surface temperatures have not changed at all, really, for the storm. Still going to be very favorable once it gets into that Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti area. Current wind shear has remained favorable, although the storm is creating self-inflicted wind shear. This is just environmental wind shear. It's not bad for the storm, and it's not expected to be too bad until maybe it reaches the Gulf or Cuba, where the conditions could change in the future. But it's creating self-inflicted wind shear because of how fast it's moving. It's moving at 30 miles per hour, which is really fast for a storm, and it's hard to keep itself together because of how fast it's moving. Current wind likelihoods. Of course, it is a green for the 80 to 100 because it's already there. I'm keeping that 100 to 125 range still in the yellow, not the green yet. Even though I expect it, I do not think it is quite as likely at this point as when I initially made that prediction, although I am still sticking with it. Of course, it is very unlikely that it will reach over 125 miles per hour, although you never know with these systems. I've heard a lot of comparisons to Dennis, not saying it will be like Dennis, but it is kind of taking a similar track to Dennis. But I do not see the comparison there in the eventual intensity, although you never really know. Current surge, it's gone up a little bit to maybe 6 to 8 feet, potentially just due to the fact that it is strengthening quite a bit, and this is most likely going to be seen in Cuba, Jamaica, possibly even Haiti, depending on how it comes into that area. And the surge will be quite bad if you live on the coast, although those are quite mountainous regions, so not as many people will be affected by it as it would if it was like mainland USA, just because it's more flat-landed coastal people in the U.S. than these islands. So that is good news, although it is bad news that even anyone will be affected by this potentially worse surge. Current rainfall, again, because of how fast it's moving, not much rain, and because it is a smallerish system on the small end of the medium or average scale, it's not going to produce much rain. Probably 5 inches in most areas, maybe scattered, maybe in isolated areas. You could see 9 to 10, maybe even 11 inches, but that would be at the very most, in my opinion. Let's take a look at the potential damage index. This is for Haiti, Jamaica, and Cuba. Maybe a little bit less impacts for Cuba than Haiti and Jamaica, but still, nevertheless, a 6 on the wind, which is expecting potentially 100 to 110 mile per hour winds, with a surge potentially expecting 6 to 8 feet, and rainfall potentially expecting 8 to 12 inches for the storm. Let's take a look at the areas that will be affected by this. As you can see, those yellows are the areas that will most likely be affected by the worst the worst areas, as you saw just a moment ago, the areas and how strong they will be or how bad they will be. The yellow is the most likely at the moment to receive those, while the green will likely receive less harsh conditions, although still pretty bad nevertheless. And the blue, you'll likely receive just a little bit of gusty weather and rain from the back end of the storm from this time onwards. I know they were just hit by a hurricane, so it is probably not the greatest over there, but from this point on, only expect scattered showers and gusty winds in the areas like Guadalupe, Saint Domingue, that area, Barbados, all those areas. Thank you guys for watching Update 4 on Hurricane Elsa, which has the potential to potentially maybe even becoming Cat 2, at the highest Cat 3, but that would be a weak Cat 3, and might actually at this point stay as a Category 1. But nevertheless, a Category 1 in July from the main development region is a scary thought, especially following the 2020 season. It's not looking good, especially since this is the earliest E-name storm on record. It does not look like we will break the F record, as there is no current areas of interest or waves that really look like they have potential in the next couple of days, and Faye formed in the next 5 days to 6 days. So it is not looking likely that we'll break the F record, but you never know. Long term, we could still see an active season. It is actually very likely that we will be above active. I might be changing my prediction. I might be making a July prediction, even though I said June would be the last one, just because of how crazy this June was compared to what I honestly expected. I might have to do an updated version if this continues further into July. Then I might have to make an updated Atlantic forecast. But thank you guys for watching this video on Elsa. If you guys enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to not miss future updates on the storm or just in the Atlantic in general. Thank you guys for watching and signing off.